don't even bother.
You could do an Irish coffee.
Yeah, Irish
If
coffee.
we're in a cabin in the woods and we don't have to go anywhere.
Never want to go anywhere. I would like to talk about this stellar vehicle we saw earlier today that was a Tesla with a sticker that said Anti-Elon Tesla Club.
Is that really a club?
First of all, you bought not only the Tesla, but then you thought it was appropriate to get that magnet to put on said Tesla to make a statement.
Yeah.
Which is lame.
And, okay, I don't know who is the head of the corporation of the kind of car that I drive, but everybody fucking knows that Elon is Tesla. Tesla is Elon. Like, everybody knows that. And just because you bought a Tesla doesn't mean you are like fully signing on to every single choice Elon has ever made. Like, that's not how any of this works. But there's really only one subset of people who think that. I never once have seen someone driving a Tesla and go, they must love Elon. I don't give a shit. Right? Like, you either like super into gadgets, because that's like why people get the Cybertruck, right? Or you want the gas mileage, like whatever. So if you think that people are judging you and you want to make the point that you don't like Elon, then you're catering to people who are making that assumption in the first place. Like, it's retarded.
Well, I think what it stems to also is that you're giving yourself too much importance by thinking that everyone's thinking of you.
Also that. Bingo.
I don't care. It's going to make me laugh more to see your dumbass put a magnet on your Tesla.
Like, now I'm judging you. I wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't care.
But now I am.
I always see Teslas everywhere. They're everywhere. I go to visit San Diego. They're even more everywhere. They're like everywhere is everywhere. Here, they've gotten to be a lot. They're in a lot of places. I'm going to say they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I also don't have a problem with Elon, but also if I did, it doesn't matter. If I wanted a Tesla, I would get a Tesla. I would not make a personal assumption or vision of the creator or the CEO of the company my issue that then I prohibit myself from getting it because I'm trying to make a stance. Nobody gives a shit about your stance. It didn't move the needle. It didn't break the glass ceiling.
That sticker was the vehicular equivalent of a black Instagram square.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, what did it do?
Nothing.
It's performative.
It's virtue signaling, performance, BS, which we're in too much of. This brings me to, and we're not calling anyone out specifically because we won't. Unless it's that car, but specifically as in I didn't put that license plate, which I also have. Specifically in the sense
we're not into doxing
generally,
people.
No, we don't dox. I will say generally, when you have a stance as a human, share it with me. Totally.
Yeah.
If you own a business, keep your personal stance on your own personal social media and not make a statement on behalf of the small business that we love supporting small businesses.
Yeah.
You and I, everyone we talk to, they're always super excited to support a new local, really cool small business. When that small business starts getting mixed up in feeling compelled, and this is the same story for the quote influencers and creators on social media who feel like they need to talk about something and make a statement about what's been going on in our country since the beginning of the year. A lot has been this whole ICE thing. So ICE and the problems that they have. ICE is doing their job because we voted for a president to maintain law and order. And then when you have businesses saying hashtag ICE out and we're going to find out what we can do about this, ICE wasn't coming into your business to begin with, but you don't need to sell out even to the people that are maybe making you feel like that, because now you're isolating a base. And I just feel in a place of business, when you're serving people of both sides, maybe just shut the fuck up.
Absolutely.
That's my attitude, because it's going to change if I want to go there or not now.
Oh yeah.
And that's not a...
And that sucks.
That totally sucks, but it's not a punishment. It's just I didn't care.
Yeah.
I figured you probably supported the other side, but I didn't care because you made a good product. You have a good business structure, whatever it is.
A cute storefront.
And I was going to support that
Great customer
like I've been
service.
doing it. And now you just isolated a base who was the cool base because we didn't give a shit. We weren't pressuring you to say anything.
Yeah.
So I'm just a little disappointed. But it's not just that one business. It's other businesses that think that they need to mix in. Shut your mouth and do the business.
Yeah.
That's it. Head down, business, personal page, go nuts. Don't care. But it's just unfortunate that we've gotten to that point in society where everyone feels that they have to say something.
Yeah. Everybody doesn't need a hot take.
No.
It's like the video that you sent me. Like, I just wanted a recipe. I don't need to know who you voted for or what news channel you're watching. Just give me the recipe. But then they're adding their opinions and ideologies, and now I don't want your recipe anymore.
Because that recipe is now sprinkled with bullshit
Yeah.
and ignorance. And also, you didn't take the time to do the research. That's the one thing I will say for things that we talk about, for things I always bring up online, whether I'm talking politics or whatever, I will always do research before I say it. Or I will always disclaim, like, this has not been, I don't have the sources to cite this. But what I will say from everything I've been hearing is what's happening, or what has been happening, I guess, for a while, it's not recent, in Minnesota is crazy. But why is nobody a little interested in the fact that this only started turning into a shit show when all of the fraud, the billions of dollars of fraud was uncovered? And people make that comment. I watch it happen online. I watch people say something very similar to that. All eyes are on Minnesota since the fraud and blah, blah. And once that happened, boom, it was spun into this. And the attacks on those people who were just making a very logical assumption. If you want to attack me for saying, hey, this started looking like crazy when this came out, that's not me being, I don't know, a cold person, a super
partisan,
indoctrinated. Yeah. That's me stating the basic facts, which were evident, visible, audible. If you didn't see it, you were actively not looking because it was there and it was proven and all those hearings were going on. And then it's one thing after the other, these tumbleweeds starting to happen. And I just look at it and I think you're attacking someone for just coming. I don't even want to say coming at you. I want to say stating a fact, stating what happened. I saw this thing a couple days ago on a real estate page, like a real estate mastermind page or something on Facebook. Not my brokerage all over the country. Someone posts, we need to keep Minnesota and all of our agents in our prayers, and we need to write our national association and find out what they could do about it. And so the comments coming back, because I stay very excluded from this shit. I don't get mixed in with people I don't know who's baiting here, also, this is real estate, dude. Just keep it out.
Yeah.
Someone said, what's the National Association going to do? Someone else said, oh yeah, definite, his prayers, okay, all this stuff. And then you start getting to the one person that says, I think this post is irrelevant, but maybe we just stay in our homes and don't go interfere with law enforcement activity. You would think he said, I like to eat children. Like the wildest shit you could have thought he said, they all attacked him. And I'm thinking, hey, bud, I'm with you, dude.
Yeah.
Just keep your head down and do your business. But it's not like that because people are seeing what they see for 15 seconds on propaganda media and going effing crazy.
Yeah. Well, and that's been happening for a long time. I just feel like it's even worse now. Like, remember the kids, those boys from Covington, Kentucky that were in Washington, D.C. and that whole debacle?
Oh, yeah.
And I've talked about, my mom has one friend that we probably don't agree on very much, but like I will shout her out again because she brought that up to me when that happened. And I said, but did you watch the whole video? And I said, because what you're telling me says that you didn't watch the whole video. You need to see it in context. And she went and watched that whole video and came back and had a cool discussion with me about it. and was
Awesome.
like, yeah, okay, you're right. Who else is doing that? Nobody. Nobody's doing that. Watch the whole video. Get the whole context. Everybody from every side, get the full context before you make your hot take. Because, oh my gosh, it's so clear who has done their research and who has not. Who is lacking in discernment. Like, you don't have to post your opinion right away. You don't have to be first. Like, just maybe don't say anything. But also, look into it a little more. It's not hard. And you don't have to, guess what? You don't have to look into every single current event.
That's shocking. What? Everyone's going to flip out when they hear that. But if it's something that's affecting you, or if you're living there, or gosh, I was seeing footage online of people who have been driving to Minnesota and they're like, I just feel like Minneapolis needs our help. And I'm like, you little bitch, what are you going to do for Minneapolis except create more, stir more? You're not understanding that nothing can be done right now in terms of, you got to lower the temperature of what's been going on there. The only way to lower the temperature is for everyone to go back in their houses. The only way for everyone to stop participating and going back in their houses is if state and local law enforcement, or leadership say, back the F up, knock it off. But that's not happening because they like this.
Well,
they want this.
State leadership gave a stand down order to local police, which is why federal police had to go in. And I'm just going to say this. If you know me in real life, if you don't know me, like, I know a lot of cops. So I'm going to speak for law enforcement families. And the reason that these federal officers have their fucking faces covered is because assholes dox their families.
Yeah.
And it's so aggravating to me that people can't understand that. And it pisses me off. Like, if you have kids and you're screaming and yelling about them having their faces covered, you're kind of being hypocritical. They're covering their faces so that you can't put their address all over the internet for some psycho to go to their house. So I just want to put that
happened
out
immediately.
there.
That happened immediately also with the first thing in the beginning of January with Renee Good. Immediately his face, they got it and it was out.
Yeah.
So back off. I personally, you know how I feel about law enforcement. I'm super supportive. I also feel law enforcement in any situation, we don't know that situation. So maybe third-party commentators need to shut the fuck up about that situation. Yep. What was that person under? What was the exact situation? You're expecting, because there's 5 million cameras, that doesn't mean that that's the story. Just because you have 5 million cameras, no one's in it like an officer and like that perpetrator are. So my whole attitude is, we have come to a point where now it's a media propaganda war and everyone is believing this. And we have gone over so many times about, gosh, it's so easy now to not think for yourself, to not do the research, to just turn on, boom, CNN, turn on MSNBC, turn on Fox, whatever you want to turn on. You'll get your snippet that you need, and then you just roll with it without doing the research, because why? Like, someone else has already done it. No, honey, those are commentators. They're not journalists doing things. The beautiful thing to me is Don Lemon, who was arrested a while back, and they're trying to make a case that it's an attack on the First Amendment. So the guy from TMZ, Harvey whatever, right, gets on and he's like, what happened to Don Lemon, blah, 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 the First Amendment. And James O'Keefe retweets it. And that was my favorite, because he was like, hey, Harvey, they raided my my newsroom. Where was this outrage for that First Amendment? So Don Lemon did a lot of bad shit by going in that church with the crowd, riling up, blocking people. That's not First Amendment.
He interrupted a church service. There's no reason that he couldn't have waited until after the church service to interview that pastor. There's no reason at all.
No, they blocked the stairs.
Imagine if James O'Keefe went in and into a mosque and interrupted, I don't know what their services are called, a service.
One of the calls to prayer for 75 times.
Like,
got it.
There'd be outrage. But because it was a Christian guy, like, it's just ridiculous. There's a way to go about things and a way to not go about things. If you're welcome to protest, but You don't need to impede federal law enforcement operations. If you don't like what they're doing, go hire a lobbyist. We know a good one. Go to your congressman. Go to your government. Change the law at the law level. You don't impede law enforcement. That, by the way, is a felony. Like, it's so clear to me, but then how is it not clear to other people? I don't understand that.
I feel like it's very clear on just a cause and effect, A plus B level. And I look at the footage that I see on TV and online, and I just think, how are you guys getting this far gone with what you think is okay? Attacking police officers, federal officers, stating
Biting
things
their
online.
fingers off.
Dude, stating things online, making, I'm all for freedom of speech, as we've discussed many times, but getting on and making videos about how these people should die and how you hope. I mean, I love, we talked when we always love the freedom of speech, not freedom of consequences, because we've had that chat. But, there was a nurse who said really horrific things about Carolyn Levitt.
Oh, she should be fired.
She's fired.
Good. That was appalling.
So terrible. Like, I've never, okay. And then there was I think also a nurse who was saying how to poison ICE officers. Yeah, she was from Virginia. I think she's also been fired. She was saying basically I don't know. You know what? I'm not even going to say what she said because I don't want to repeat it. But she was saying ways to poison and basically really harm, maim officers, like date them and do this, sabotage, crazy shit. She was fired. So
Good.
I think you guys are putting this online. You know what the problem is? I get that you were fired and I appreciate that it came to that, but how many people heard it before you said it? And how many people now, the thing is on where now they're fixated on that. And now you've just created one more. I'll call you what you are, everyone. You're insane if you're thinking that harming is the way to get your point across. This is where you take it to the ballot box. This is where you do things like that to make change. When you do the shit that you're doing and have been doing in Minneapolis, you're going to create civil war. You're going to, what I hope that the feds do and the administration does is I'm kind of like, pull out and let it burn. To me, you guys, if you don't have local and state leadership, Walz, Frey, if you don't have them supporting you, but they say they do, I think, Walz had the meeting, said he supports it, and then Frey gets on and they go to Capitol Hill and they start bitching. So you can't have it both ways. I know you're trying to evade your fraud shit right now with your Leering centers and all of your home health care, but you're willing to martyr and put your own people in defense of you not having to pay repercussions for what you've done. That to me is disgusting. And what's the saddest part is that people are just eating it up. Like, totally, ice out. No one is illegal on stolen land. Well, shut your mouth.
If you're a celebrity, like an actress or a singer or whatever, like, I don't want your opinion.
No one cares, everybody. No one cares.
And also, I will say, I feel like somebody's going to come and try to make a point about me saying that it's good that those nurses got fired for saying that. You can have a different opinion. You don't need to be fired over your different opinion. But if you are actively advocating for the harm of another human being, especially as a healthcare provider, then yes, you should be fired for that. Like that's the line. Just so that's super duper clear. Because I could see somebody being like, well, should you be fired because you voted for Trump? No, you shouldn't be fired for your political beliefs. But that's a whole other animal than like calling for the active injury, battery of another human being.
Oh, but this is the same way with months back with Charlie Kirk, people getting fired for the outburst that they were having because they were
celebrating someone's death
and saying, all of you, who's next? And
yeah.
There's a limit, bud. You can have your freedom of speech, and I totally respect and honor that.
Yeah.
And you've even said, like, I will fight for your freedom of speech to say that shit. But
You're
it's
not
not
immune
freedom
from
of
the
consequences.
Yeah.
So maybe think before you speak. It still goes back to what your mama told you, which was think before you speak and before you also broadcast it on the internet. I feel we've gotten a little too brave of thinking that there's no consequences just because you're filming it and putting it
Yeah.
behind a screen. But someone can find your IP and you can be doxxed. There are the people who want it. If someone wants to do harm to you, they're going to do harm to you. They're going to find the way.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
We've fallen so deeply.
So Tim Walz was like, whoa, no, we totally support ICE. All our state prisons honor ICE detainers, except that the part that he didn't mention that people have failed to look into on their own is that city and county jails have not honored ICE detainers since 2021. That's why all those people were in Minnesota. Because Minnesota government made it easy for them to be there. And I would like to point out that Tom Homan got a freaking award in 2015 under what president? Obama for doing the same job. And now they're lambasting him for doing the same thing. And I'm pretty sure, I don't have the numbers to back it up, but it's probably pretty easy to freaking get on the Google machine and find the numbers. I'm pretty sure Obama deported more people than Trump.
Oh, yes, he did.
And so why was Tom Homan getting an award under Obama and he's getting absolutely annihilated under Trump? That's bullshit. How about a little consistency? And then I would like to point out that the left loves to paint a picture of illegal immigrants as like fruit pickers and busboys and maids. And the people that have been arrested by ICE in the last month.
There's like fruit picker. I've never heard it like used like that. I like it. It just runs.
Which, that's a hella racist thing already. But regardless, the people that have been arrested by ICE in the last month are not fruit pickers. They're not busboys. They're almost every single one of them that I looked up. DHS has been publishing who they're arresting. Not one of them was arrested because he was hanging out at a Home Depot waiting for a construction job. That's not why they're getting arrested. They almost all had driving under the influence. They are aggravated assault is like the least worst thing that they've done. There's murderers, rapists, child rapists. Like, that's who these people are trying to go to bat for. That's who people have lost their lives trying to defend. Why? Why are you defending these people?
So I feel like anyone with a sane, logical bone in their body, even not necessarily if they are of the same political beliefs as maybe we are, but a different, right? If you're just modern, you're different, and you're of left-leaning, whatever it is, we've established, I don't care. I love having a conversation with anyone, and I'm not going to judge you because of your politics unless you try to flip it on me and attack me. Then I'm going to defend myself. But what I will say is when those people of logic come and they use that logic and they think, wait a minute, so I think where I see the problem is you're willing to fight and cause huge chaos in your own city, country, whatever. You're willing to, yes, potentially lose your life in order to protect these people. But yet when our American citizens were murdered by these people, you said nothing.
Yeah.
You just sat there and you lived your own life. There was no square. There was no nothing. There was
nothing for Kate Steinle. Nothing for, I could list girls that have been absolutely brutalized.
Yeah. Nothing. So I just think, how hypocritical is that? But these are the same people who were saying you took Maduro out of Venezuela. He was the president. You cut off the head of a regime. And I'm like, Maduro wasn't elected. He was unelected.
Yeah.
He sat there. It's this ignorance. All of it. You guys are being fed something. Respectfully, I'm telling you to do research and do better and stop listening. You're the puppets that they want. You're the puppets that they count on. And you're the puppets that are expendable. Just, they can toss you like nothing because you're just easily manipulated. Your thoughts don't matter. You have no conviction. You have temporary loyalties and things that you're going to stick to because of what you're told. We had a protest in Boise a while back. We had a couple different ones. We had pro and we had anti. I see a lot of signs professionally made that get here like that. I know that Kinko's isn't putting orders through that fast, you know?
Yeah.
So that to me is, there is something bigger here. And I think there are organizers of all these orchestrated things all over the country. Oh, this day is this and this day is that. And I'm thinking, hey, buddy, can you all go to work? Go to work. Go work at your store. Go open your small business. Don't take a stance on your small business today, because don't. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, and if you're going to drive all the way to Minneapolis to go help them protest, are you willing to drive to Texas to help put out sandbags to help with flooding? Are you willing to help rebuild after a hurricane? And if you went to a No Kings protest and then got upset about Maduro, that math ain't mathin'. No. Come on now. Just a little consistency. And again, how much of this is a distraction technique? If you are all in on Ice Out Minnesota, then you're not paying attention to what is really happening.
That's the playbook around the whole country, though.
Yeah.
And I mean, bigger than the country. What's going on in Minnesota has been so crazy, because it's just one thing after the other that's constantly uncovered. But you really can't pay attention to that, because all the cameras are pointed on Minneapolis and all the problems there. I have friends in the burbs of Minnesota, and they're like, yeah, what they've done to our state is just detrimental. It's horrific, because we're out here conservative, living our lives and loving our country, and that's what they do. So you have no leadership on that level. But I think I'm just more always shocked in situations like this of where are you guys working? That these are your jobs, that you just have this flexibility to leave and go protest or just go stand in the street and make it your mission to uncover something with a video camera on your phone. And then I'm realizing it's because you're getting paid to do this.
Oh, yeah.
But
George
who's
Soros
paying
is
you?
paying them.
But there's other ones too. So how do we stop that? How do we stop that money coming into to do these kind of things?
Well, and it always makes me think, every time something huge pops off in the news and it's everywhere, what are they voting on in Congress?
What else is happening?
What's going on? What's sneaky under the radar?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, after, what was it, Ferguson, Missouri, that kid got shot by that cop, and that was a whole thing.
When was that?
Years ago.
Okay.
And there were riots there. That kid, the forensics on that were so obvious that that was a justified shoot. Don't even get me started. But people, hello, I'm going to assault my microphone. People were posting pictures of pallets of bricks appearing on sidewalk corners for rioters. Like, none of this is grassroots. It's all being orchestrated.
You're talking about recently or back
then?
then?
No, in Missouri, like just outside of St. Louis. The kid,
but even now.
Yeah. And so this has been happening for years and years and years. Like, people are supporting these riots and trying to make it look grassroots, and it's not. And then people just don't do their due diligence in looking into it, and they just want to be a part of a cause. And the hive mind makes you think that as long as you're with these people, you're right. And they just go along with it.
It's wild.
It's so wild.
I'm going to say that in most states, I don't have the updated stat, but I was hearing in Texas where they're doing more ICE arrests, like astronomically more arrests in Texas from ICE.
Sure.
You don't hear about it.
No.
That's so weird. Why? Because they're working with federal law enforcement. Everyone's working together.
Yeah.
This is what you have when you have active sabotage from your leadership of your state and your city, because they're also trying to cover up something bigger that's already been uncovered, and they think that they can just use this as a scapegoat to just get out of it altogether. I mean, Walz already had announced that he wasn't running again. I'm like, I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that you're just going to give someone another chance. Like, buddy, dance it out. You should have been in jail months ago.
Yep.
This guy should be in jail yesterday easily. I mean, at the latest. And how he's not is mind-blowing to me too, because I'm like, hey, all of them, round them up. They do it to us. If our governor and stuff was doing this shit and our mayors, they would all be arrested immediately because it's opposite.
Even New York and California are honoring more ICE detainers than Minnesota right now, which is wild because they do not have a high percentage of that. And a lot of these people that have been arrested have had a warrant since like the early 2000s. Just been here in the country, just murdering and raping.
It's sanctuary city shit, though, also.
Yeah.
Sanctuary city is not the way. You're here illegally. So if you come into a country, we've established this, the news has said this, Webster's dictionary probably says what illegal means. It means not of the law, not legal, to sum it up very basically for you. If you came here and you're not supposed to be here, the same way if you went to any country and you're not supposed to be there, you've already committed a crime by being there. The act you committed was wrong, and therefore you've committed an illegal act.
You could probably come here illegally and go pick fruit or whatever racist shit they want to say that you do and keep your head down and mind your business, and you'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
Because that's not who they're trying to arrest. But the overwhelming majority of these people are dangerous, violent criminals. And just so nobody does to me what they did to Trump, not everyone who crosses the border is a dangerous, violent criminal. But if you're a dangerous, violent criminal, I'm going to call you a dangerous, violent criminal. And you shouldn't be here. It's pretty simple. And also, for always, if you commit a crime with your child present, they're going to take your child away from you. That's pretty logical. Your kid doesn't get to go to jail with you. And so if you commit a crime with your kid in tow and they arrest you, they're not going to leave your kid to wander the streets. So they're going to call the other parent. And what happens when the other parent bails on that kid? Now that kid is a ward of the state. That's not kidnapping. That's shitty parenting. That's shitty parenting 101.
That's abandonment 101. Yeah. You're talking about the little kid with the blue that made viral headlines.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very different.
Or the kids, they're being separated at the border. Well, yeah. If I went and robbed a bank with my kids, they don't let my kids go hang out in my jail cell with me. Give me a break. You get separated. And also, we've discussed before that a lot of the kids crossing the border are being used as pawns, and they do not belong to the people that they are being crossed with because parents are selling their children to coyotes to help people get across the border easier, which is appalling. So fuck you to them.
Yeah, we're in a very wild position in our country right now because when you have our own citizens who are fighting, I don't know if it's that they want to fight for the people or they just want to be part of a cause or they want to be like against the man. And so they go and try to fight ICE. I just feel when you are fighting for people, but who don't belong here, but then you never said anything about people that could have been your friend, could have been your daughter's classmate at school that was murdered by someone here illegally, and you have nothing to say about it. It is mind-blowing to me. I don't even have the words because I'm so confused at how those things can correlate and how people can just make it make sense in their own head. Now, are you getting paid a lot to do these riots and protests and agitating against the anti-ICE? Yeah, probably. Were you paid to protest the American citizens or the people who were killed by illegals? No, because I think there's a general rage and sadness about that. And the way that we've done something about that is we voted to have it done.
Yep.
That's our response to it. Like all of these American citizens were killed by illegals here, criminal illegals, terrible, violent offenders. They're here. They did this to our citizens. What do we want? We want stronger borders. When do we want them? Now. What do we want you to do about them? Get rid of them.
Yeah.
You know where I feel the people that you're saying who have come here and been here for years? I know people like that being in San Diego. They eventually did all the things they needed to do, but they had come here not legally. You know when they're not getting swooped up, though? When they're just living their normal life. If ICE is targeting certain people with names and they have lists, and you stand in their way, because remember LA went through this too a few months back where they were just making the whole, last year probably, where they just made a huge thing. And then there were the riots in LA and the cops getting bricks dropped on them from bridges, things like that. If you all just stayed in your houses and let law enforcement do their job, innocent people who maybe, I don't know, are either U.S. citizens and got caught in the crossfire because they're detaining U.S. citizens. Fast forward to the story of she's harboring her illegal person and running and not letting you in the house. There's always more to the story. Just realize that when you watch the news, quote, or online. Open your eyes. There's more to the story. Be a free thinker and get it through your head that there is more to this story. You're being fed it in propaganda. If you just let them do their job, they will get who they need to get. But the fact that you're putting up such a wild resistance and fight, unfortunately, it's going to get messy. But that's not our fault. That's because you're doing it. You're getting in the way of legal things. You should all be in jail.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Jail. Immediate jail.
There was a police chief I think he was a police chief somewhere in Minnesota who gave a quote and said, if we as local law enforcement had been allowed to do our jobs because we are trained to handle crowds, rowdy crowds, then people wouldn't have had to lose their lives. Because if you distract someone from their job, they're not going to do their job as well, which is why they're all walking around with whistles and shit. So then they can't communicate to each other. So if local law enforcement had been there for crowd control, and also people were, you can protest. You have the right. Stand on the sidewalk and fucking protest. Hold your sign, whatever. But the second you step off the sidewalk and you impede the flow of traffic and you then are getting involved in federal law enforcement, now they're distracted. And so now they, could sweep up some U.S. citizens, some innocent people. Instead of just letting them do their job, letting an investigation play out, letting it go with the course of law. And again, if you have a problem with that, then you go to your government and your leadership and you change the law at the law level. You don't change the law on the street. And people wouldn't have had to lose their lives for violent, awful people. But again, they were given a stand down order.
This is cartel behavior to me. This is third world country behavior. Look at what's happening right now in other countries. It's crazy. So be a little grateful. This goes back to understand that you have rights and there's a constitution for a reason. You have rights for a reason, but don't push it so far because that is when other measures get put into place. And also, if you're having a problem with this, but you're loving the fact that you have the ability to do it under your constitutional right, like protest, but that doesn't give you the right to go into a church during service and attack people as well. Side note. But if you love that, but you still hate this country, do us all a favor and leave.
Yeah.
I see it more and more every day when people are just saying, America is the country that everybody can say they hate, but it's also the one that everyone refuses to leave. If you have such a problem, don't be a hypocrite. You should leave.
Yeah.
I think so. I can't believe anything you say if you say that you hate America and you stay here. Oh, you think ICE is bad, but you also hate America and you stay here? Then I just think it's opposite day and I think you're a liar and I think everything you say is bullshit because if you hate something so much, it's same with the Islamists coming in though. You say you hate Western civilization, Western culture. Why are you living here? This is Western. This is very Western. This is the most Western. Yeah. This is OnlyFans Western shit out here, okay? You have to put a level of Western on it. But I think my biggest thing is please just open your eyes of what you're doing and what you're fighting for, and know that you're going to go down for fighting for people who raped and murdered American, not only citizens, but a lot of children. That's disgusting. That's vile. How can you then put the claws of ICE out on something? I'm just like, grow up. Get bent.
Well, and we've talked about, I don't know if we've talked about it here or just in real life, that Americans tend to be really kind of only focused on America, which, whatever, no judgment, but look around. Look at what's happening to the Persian people. That's far worse than the American federal government rounding up heinous, awful people. And no, I don't see any black squares for the Persian people. Like, come on now.
Iran, it's crazy.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
And I've seen, people who are in communication with people that are there on the ground, and they're saying that the numbers that are being reported are not even close to who has really died. And then you guys are worried about your maid. If you care about your maid so much, why don't you help her become a citizen? Why don't you help her get her green card? Why don't you help her do things the appropriate legal way?
The clock has run out on the luck of you can just come here and stay here, and maybe you'll just be here long enough that no one's going to care anymore. That era and that clock of luck is over.
Yep.
Because if someone comes here, you're absolutely right. You know that if you were to go to maybe their country or another country, your welcome will be outstayed very quickly. You have to have time limits on everything, whether it's a work visa, whether it's whatever, whether it's 90-day fiance. There is a time limit for everything. If you have someone who comes here, if they didn't go through the proper channels, but you know that they're here illegally, help them. Jeez, because that's selfish then for you to not help them. At least give them the hand to point them in the direction, guide them, get them at least set up, but encourage them to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want on your own conscience is that you had the opportunity to educate them about something and you didn't, and they got sent back, and then you're going to be freaking out because ICE did their job. I'm sorry. I voted for people to remove the people that were here illegally. The majority of us did. Immigration was a huge issue. The way it's going, I think the way it's going is because we don't have cooperation from the Minnesota officials.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't think it would go like this if it was any other way. Same with LA. When LA was under gnarly stuff last year in the beginning, that if they had cooperated, they would have been the same. But LA was like, hide your people, don't open the door, know your rights. I just saw a girl that I used to know in San Diego. She's a writer, and she posted this whole thing, I've been quiet for too long, and now I feel like I really need to say this. Know your rights, have your things written, but you don't have to show anyone anything. And I'm like, you guys are trying to make this complex that if you just stayed in your house and shut your mouth and didn't mix in and get involved, this would be a non-issue. So just maybe do that and let the bad people get taken out and let us go back to normal. It's stupidity. Read. Open your eyes. Watch more than 10 seconds of a clip on social media, because I guarantee you everything has been proven with more seconds. It's what you're thinking is already debunked because it's not accurate. But, drink some coffee, focus, take some medicine, get on it where you can watch something and pay attention, because our brains are so short-spanned right now.
Yep.
But more importantly, don't interfere with federal agents or local law enforcement ever. If they should be highly respected and left to do the job that we all want them to do. And another thing, if you're a business or you're a celebrity, shut your mouth on your political beliefs and where you stand.
Oh yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
It's very
you put
irritating.
it on your personal stuff. I don't care. I don't need your business or your opinions. Nope.
Just don't. Just if you're a business or celebrity, that's it. We don't want to hear it. We don't need our product with a touch of your political belief. We just want to support you for for your product.
Yep.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
There you go.
That's it.
All right. Well, let's lighten it up a little bit and say, have a good day to everyone except the people at the dog park who think that they know a lot about dog behavior, but their dog is an asshole.
Oh. All but you. All but you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.